Today's NFL news and rumors are presented by Manscaped. Get 20% off the Perfect Package, the Lawnmower 4.0, and all of their great men's grooming tools when you go to manscaped.com/chat. Getting things going with some news here around the Manning brothers, who, as ESPN has tried to do for years, have finally gotten Peyton Manning as technically part of their Monday Night Football coverage. So here's what's going on. Peyton and Eli Manning are going to be part of ESPN's Monday Night Football Megacast. Great name for something that's pretty standard. It's an alternate telecast. It does not replace the current ESPN Monday Night Football package. 10 games each season over the next 3 years. It'll also be aired on ESPN too, so you can go back and forth on the channel for those of you who bother with cable these days. Now, this is being produced in tandem with Omaha Productions. That's actually Peyton's production company. Great name for a Peyton Manning-led production company. Omaha. It's funny, right? I will make note that ESPN for years now has tried to get Peyton Manning on Monday Night Football. This is not going to be, however, Peyton and Eli just sitting around there broadcasting the game. They will be remote, which I don't love that much, and they'll bring on guests. So my suspicion is this will probably be a little bit more like what TNT's done with The Match. It's not going to be Peyton and Eli doing play-by-play and color commentary. It'll be more like the coaching stuff they do for the college football playoffs, where they're watching the game and they're commentating on it, not providing real play-by-play. So it'll be a little bit different. Now, speaking of ESPN, and I hope you guys give me the answer I'm searching for here, which one's better? Type in E for the failing ESPN, or type in C for Chat Sports. I mean, you guys know how I'm voting. Get your votes in, though. E if you want to be wrong, or C for Chat Sports. Let's update you guys now on Aaron Rodgers. The drama continues as there's now some, I'm going to call it conflicting, I don't know if it's opinions, reports, or the blend between the two that more and more I see from major media people on just what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. It's very clear right now that Rodgers ain't happy. Look, it's very weird for a player coming off an MVP season in which they made it to the NFC Championship game and were this close to winning, maybe if they didn't have the PI and Kevin King or whatever, for the quarterback to not be a part of the team technically right now. Now, I'll get to what Adam Schefter and Albert Breer said. I will make note his teammate, Mercedes Lewis, thinks he will report to camp. Just a teammate's mindset. First, this quote from Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated, his opinion. As for Aaron Rodgers' situation, well, that one's anyone's guess. But ask me what I think, and I'll tell you that Rodgers will probably get some sort of contract extension, and things will wind up being fine in the short term, with some of the long term remaining a quote-unquote beautiful mystery. As of right now, maybe he'd still like to play elsewhere. But from a football standpoint, it's hard to see where he'd be in a better situation with another MVP or another Super Bowl. And the Packers owe it to a roster full of guys in their primes who have played in consecutive NFC title games to do everything they can to get Rodgers back in the fold, even if it comes with nothing assured past February. So Breer's theory/suggestion is that Rodgers does get an extension of sorts, but it doesn't prohibit either side from still trying to move on after next season. Schefter, meanwhile, his opinion, quote, my own opinion, is that I don't think we'll see Aaron Rodgers show up in Green Bay with 3 years left on the contract as it currently stands. There has to be, I think, some sort of stipulation that makes the Packers will trade him after the season. Now, that one's pretty intriguing. Now, for the week 1 of this season, Green Bay is still the betting favorite. Denver second, then the Raiders, then the Dolphins. If Aaron Rodgers is traded or he doesn't show up or retires or goes to his Jeopardy or whatever, it's Jordan Love time, which might be a disaster. Yes, he was a first-round pick. Yes, I loved him in the year before he turned pro. But Jordan Love also was the team's quarterback 3 last season. That is a bit of a red flag if you're Green Bay. And we're still stuck where we've been stuck for a while now. Outside of, I think, maybe Rodgers and his fiance, I don't think anyone knows what's actually going to happen for him this year. But let's make our best guesses anyway. Where do you guys think Aaron Rodgers will end up playing this season? Get your votes in for me right now in the comments section. Adrian Peterson says he still wants to play football this year. And Field Goals, the SB Nation Seahawks site, says, why not sign him in Seattle? Which I've got thoughts. We'll get to it here. Peterson is, along with Frank Gore, the exception to the rule among running backs. As they get older, they end up not lasting very long. Peterson, though, has shown he can still contribute. But there are limited roles, as we'll get into more in depth here, for a 36-year-old running back. Peterson had 150 carries last year. Now, he averaged under 4 yards per carry. That was a dip down, although, to be fair, the Lions' offensive line wasn't the best. And he still showed that he can have a nose for the end zone. Peterson averaged more yards per carry than Todd Gurley did, despite being like 10 years older. So Peterson, I think if you're ranking backs in the NFL, it's a minimum, right? A top 90 back. There's, if not top 60 back. There's room on a roster based only on running back ability. The problem is that's not how NFL teams operate. A, they're very ageist, but the second string and the third string back are often counted on for more than just being a lead back. Adrian Peterson, especially at this stage of his NFL career, doesn't bring you much in terms of the passing game. 12 catches last year. Like, you can use him, but if he's playing for you, it's mostly on first and second downs. And oh, by the way, he offers you nothing in terms of special teams value. So if he's your third back or fighting for a third roster spot at the position, the team is going to go younger, cheaper, and that can help you with special teams. So how does that all fit in then with Seattle? Well, Chris Carson clearly is the lead back. He is going to start, but he's got injury problems, so you want a decent backup. Rashad Penny, some potential special teams value there. DJ Dallas, Travis Homer, much younger, much less proven, but also cheaper and can help you on third downs and or special teams. Frankly, the role that Peterson would play in Seattle is that of Alex Collins. I am unconvinced Collins makes this roster, especially if Rashad Penny does. So the Peterson hypothetical role in Seattle would have to come in place of Alex Collins, and even then, does he want a bigger role? He probably wouldn't have a big role, if any, in Seattle, barring injury. Right, Marshawn Lynch? Here's what Peterson said recently, by the way, because he still wants to play. Quote, the training is going well, and I'm going to control the things that I can control right now. And when that time comes, somebody will give me a call. That's all I'm asking for. My body body feels good. I came out healthy from last season. My body feels strong. I still feel young. I still feel good. I'm ready to play ball. Now, what do you guys think? Would you sign Adrian Peterson? Get your votes in for me. Type in Y for yes or type in N for no. As it specifically relates to the Seahawks, I lean no. I don't think that Peterson brings you enough. Even though he's a surefire Hall of Famer, if you're keeping Carson and Penny, I would rather let the cheaper guys in Collins and in DJ Dallas and Homer compete. Yeah, Peterson's career is way better than them, and frankly, he might be better than them right now, but what am I going to do with a third string back who doesn't help me on special teams? There's only a handful of teams that I think fit for Peterson right now. I'm not sure Seattle, barring injury, is one of them. Now, there are some other free agent backs out there who are falling into similar issues. Frank Gore, the ageist wonder himself, Lev Bell, LaShawn McCoy. Those guys were once among the best backs in the NFL, but they don't help you on special teams. They're having a tough time finding a job. Todd Gurley ain't healthy. Duke Johnson, by the way, third down value, but also getting a little bit older. Today's NFL video is powered by Manscaped. I'm not saying that if I didn't use Manscaped, if I didn't clean up my junk down there, that my wife would not be pregnant. But I'm also not saying it either. It doesn't hurt, is what I'm saying. So why don't you trim up your junk and make things nice and better looking down there and look bigger as well, if we're being honest here. And get 20% off all Manscaped products, including the Perfect Package, the Lawnmower 4.0, and the most comfortable boxers known to man. I'll put the link you see at the bottom of your screen in the comments section and in the description. It's manscaped.com/chat. Go get yourself the Perfect Package today. Let's talk Xavien Howard. The trade rumors continue around the superstar Dolphins cornerback. His situation, it doesn't appear to be getting any better. Now, I don't think it's a huge surprise there hasn't been much progress, but the lack of progress is still a story, I think, around the NFL. And if you're tired of it, Dolphins fans, I'm sorry, don't shoot the messenger. The trade rumors are everywhere, and NFL Network said, Mike Silver, before he went to go with the Washington football team, that several teams, contending teams, by the way, are interested. And it makes sense why the Dolphins don't want to pay him, but a trade, the longer this drags out, does feel at least possible. Now, Bleacher Report threw out 4 different Xavien Howard trade destinations. The Saints, who apparently do have interest in the event that he becomes available. The Eagles, who have the assets but are also bad, so, who knows. The Arizona Cardinals, who I think are the best fit right now for Xavien Howard. And then the Cleveland Browns, who don't love that fit, to be honest there. But what do you guys think? What do you want to do with Xavien Howard? Are you fed up with him wanting a new contract when he's got 4 years left on his deal and you just want the asset at this point? Or do you want to keep him? Do you want to keep him on the roster and find a way to keep him happy, get him a big deal, give him more guaranteed money, whatever, and have arguably the best corner in the NFL? Which route would you rather go if you are the Miami Dolphins? Get your votes in for me right now, folks, in the comment section. Type in K for keep or T for trade. Now, in the event that you trade Howard, I think at minimum you should get a first-round pick back. And if it's not a first and change, I'd be kind of surprised. Yes, you have to pay Xavien Howard. And yes, that brings down the value that you might otherwise get if he were still super cheap or you were paying a bunch of his contract overall. Dolphins wouldn't have that much dead money. But Howard's coming off an elite year. If he's not number 1, he's probably somewhere in that top 5 or whatever among best corners in the NFL. Yeah, he allowed 719 yards and had 4 touchdowns as well. His interceptions, though, were 10. His pass breakups were 20. Xavien Howard was awesome last season. With that said, as good as Howard was, I completely understand why the Dolphins are like, no, why would we give you a new deal? And I get that Byron Jones, his teammate, is a higher paid player than Xavien Howard. And Howard might not like that very much. And he got him beat by a little million and some change there. But when Howard signed his deal, even though it is now almost $5 million behind on the average per year, Jalen Ramsey at $20 million, when Howard signed his deal, he was the highest paid corner in the NFL. And I know he's no longer top 5 in the NFL at his position. But you know what? He's got 4 years left on his contract. So I get Miami's like, I don't know if we want to set you up there. Now, maybe the Dolphins can do what the Patriots did with Stephon Gilmore and Julio Jones did with the Falcons, where like, okay, Xavien, we will guarantee you some more money. We'll play around with when the money gets paid to you because we want to keep you happy and we want to keep you. If Howard's prepared to do that, okay, I'm intrigued by that. But if Howard wants a full-fledged new deal, then it might make more sense for Miami to say, you know what? No, we'll trade you instead. Whatever happens with Xavien Howard, we'll let you guys know here because we keep you guys covered on all the great NFL stuff that happens. The news, the rumors, trades, mailbags, NBA stuff if you're an NBA fan too. Finals coming up here. We got it all for you. Hit that big red button and subscribe for videos coming out multiple times every single day. To Stephon Gilmore now we go, as the lack of progress also going on for the current Patriots cornerback. Albert Breer says there's been no progress on a new deal. And Breer says he thinks a deal gets done because it makes sense for both sides, which I tend to agree with. No guarantee, though. But there are 2 likely paths here for Stephon Gilmore. Number one is he gets new incentives added to his deal. The Patriots in the past with like guys like Gronk and Brady, where they give him likely to be earned incentives. Doesn't technically count as a new contract, but it keeps things happy in the short term. Or Gilmore gets a Darius Slay style extension. Now, we've talked about Gilmore plenty here at Chat Sports, and I've said multiple times, I think Darius Slay is the perfect comparison for what Gilmore in theory should be getting on an extension. Because yes, Gilmore's awesome, coming off injury, but he's awesome, but he's older too. Darius Slay and Gilmore are much older than Jalen Ramsey and Marlon Humphrey and Trey White. They're on their their third contracts already. Ramsey, Humphrey, and White are on their second ones. So I think that beating Darius Slay, let's just say $17 million flat per year over 3 or 4 years, maybe some backloaded money in there, actually makes a lot of sense. I would argue for both sides if the Patriots, of course, want to keep Stephon Gilmore. So what do you think? What is the percent chance that Gilmore plays for the Patriots this season? I think it's fairly high, but I want to hear from you guys. Get your votes in for me right now in the comments section. Now, there is one big potential red flag beyond just like the money involved, right? Gilmore was not as good last season. Now, he almost had nowhere to go but down after when teams showed him they had no success, and he picked up a bunch of passes, broke up a lot more. But Gilmore, coming off the quad injury, by the way, he suffered late last year, wasn't as good. And we've seen Belichick in the past be willing to trade guys earlier than he has to. He'd rather move on from a guy a year too early than a year too late. And I just wonder, even though I think Gilmore's back, if Gilmore falls in that category. Then again, Belichick was right. That dude's a stud. They stole him from the Bills in the end. Now, if Gilmore's not there, it's a little bit thin at corner. I like J.C. Jackson, Jonathan Jones. That's two of your guys. Is Jackson ready to be a number one? I'm not sure. Is Jalen Mills a good number two? I kind of don't think so. Joe Juwan Williams has not been a very good football player in his young NFL career, and I'm not sold yet on Miles Bryant, D. Virgin being much more than nickel options. So my guess, Gilmore's back with New England for at least one more year. Beyond that, though, I'm actually not so sure.